Thank you, Frank. Hello to all. My name is Tricia Rawls. Neil asked me to say a few words about stewardship and our financial commitment as we head on up to Consecration Sunday here at St. Andrews by the Sea. I thought, this is something I don't do very well. So as a teacher, I knew I had some research to do before standing in front of you. I picked up my Bible, and as my son taught me years ago, Mom, you can Google that. Well, I found out, and you might not know, that money is mentioned 800 times in the Bible. I'm happy to have had this opportunity, as it has helped me personally to better understand and reacquaint myself with the need and reasons for my own financial commitment and to step up. Quite the opposite from Jessica's story 2 weeks ago, I've been a member of St. Andrews by the Sea for only 2 years in March. My parents raised me in the Methodist Church in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. After college, I was a South Carolina girl, teaching for 6 years in Conway, where I learned about okra, hoppin' john, frogmore stew, and then found my way to teaching overseas in the Department of Defense dependent school system in Germany for 19 years and in Japan for 14 years. So that adds up to 33 years living out of the country overseas. I went to church at the military base. The military chapels where I attended offered a Protestant service once a Sunday, where all the Protestants from different denominations gathered together. The Navy had the chaplain corps, and the military ran the churches. When I talked to Neil at first, he said, well, what happened to you between Ligonier Methodist Church and coming back here all these years later? I said, well, you end up being whatever the chaplain is. Everybody's just a Protestant. It was a wonderful experience for me, but I was unaware of how the churches ran, what the money was used for, and nor were the civilians like myself ever asked to do anything that had anything to do with running of the church, not even the coffee pot. I did, however, always sing in the choir, as teachers never deployed, so we were counted on to always be around. In bringing back the subject to giving, I must admit that those $20 bills that conveniently come out of the ATM were my weekly contribution for almost 40 years. I wasn't a very good giver. I certainly was cheerful, but I didn't think much about that money, where it was used and where it was going. I would thank God for a green light on the way to work, but not for providing me with the money, the job, and all the things I had to live the wonderful life I was given. Needless to say, I was not in the right mindset. In making my new budget for my new retirement life, I didn't think about changing that $20 gift. I had all kinds of reasons in my head why I did not need to do any kind of changing in that direction. I worked hard for my money. I needed my money. I needed to travel. I needed to renovate my house. The list goes on and on. So it was all about me, me, me. I just can't give anymore, I said to myself. So you can see I still was not much of a giver. Well, when I retired and came here, I somehow ended up here at Hilton Head Island. Some of you might know how that happens. And I found St. Andrews by the Sea in the island packet. I grew up a Methodist and thought, well, I might as well start there and see how things are going. And of course, I never left because of the wonderful people that are here, the pastors, and the music, which hooked me right away from the beginning. I jumped in, I volunteered at the soup kitchen, I helped with the fall festival, brought my teddy bear in, joined the church, and joined the choir. But my stewardship was really only hands-on, action-packed, but I hadn't changed that $20 a week. Still not much of a giver. So after I joined and I listened more intently after the unpacking and the moving was finished, and my brain settled down a little bit, I started listening to Neil's weekly words before the offering plates were passed. That giving helps me and my own spiritual development as an act of worship on my part. I had never thought of it that way. Lesson learned, 1 Corinthians 6:20. The ultimate purpose of our stewardship is to glorify God. It was in hearing someone speak 2 years ago around Consecration Sunday that got me to change my thinking around to more of a thanks be to God for my provisions mentality instead of that thanks to me and my hard work mentality. I've become a better Christian here at St. Andrews by the Sea. I'm working on praying more and worrying less. I appreciated the lessons given about my offering and our Stepping Up program, and it brought me around to another mindset, cheerful giver. In reading and researching, I found these words to share. Lesson learned. These gifts and the many blessings I have received are given to me by God, and it's through my stewardship I give back to glorify God and to help others. Luke 10:27. As Christians, we are to glorify God by helping others. St. Andrews by the Sea has many outreach programs built around that Bible verse. God sure is at work here at this church. Lesson learned, 2 Corinthians 9:7. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly, like I was doing, or under compulsion. For God loves a cheerful giver. In combining these verses and thoughts, I found myself comparing our St. Andrews by the Sea church to our beautiful and grand low country live oak trees. I sat at my office in my home, and out that window there's a beautiful live oak tree. And I thought, God is the sturdy bunch of roots under that tree. The members in the congregation are the stabilizing trunk, and the long-reaching, strong branches are the many ways our church reaches others' lives in our collective stewardship. Lesson learned. Giving our money is an expression of loving our God and loving our neighbor. My blessings have greatly increased since I finally became a cheerful giver and happily stepped up. The past 2.5 years I've been here, and now I'm ready to do that again this month. Consecration Sunday next week is asking you to also please think about that. Will you step up? Will you make a difference in your financial commitment? And be a cheerful giver. Thank you for your time to listen to my story.